Okay, what I'm going to do is demonstrate the lens shadow during conventional shooting. I'm not going to be, extremely close to any of the subjects in this segment, so let's do my first photo here. I'm going to shoot this little container of coins and see what happens. Yep, lower right, there's a pretty heavy lens shadow. I need everyone to pay attention also to how I'm holding the camera. I usually don't hold a camera like this, but I have to make sure that I keep my hand out of the way so no one can say that it's actually my fingers getting in the way of the flash. It's actually the lens barrel. So let's go ahead and get a little higher up here. Yep, you can still see it. So you even get the lens shadow at that distance, Let's go shoot a few more, see what we come up with. Yeah, you can really see that one. I know some people are going to say that I'm being unfair to the SX210, that I'm setting it up for failure by shooting in positions that I know are going to result in a shadow, but first of all, I kind of have to do this. I mean, I'm demonstrating the lens shadow, so I have to show you the positions that you can get into in order to result in the lens shadow. And secondly, it's not unfair at all. I mean, the positions I'm shooting at are not abnormal. I can see anybody wanting to just pull out their camera on a whim and shoot a picture without having to worry about if they're next to a wall, or if they got somebody standing next to them, or if they're they have furniture next to them or whatnot. It's unfortunate that the SX210 does not give you the luxury of not having to worry about that kind of thing. Yeah, that's really bad. And this here was actually the position that I first discovered the lens shadow. I was sitting on my couch, had a friend over, wanted to reach over and snap a picture, and what resulted was the shadow that set me off on my tangent against the SX210. Yeah, that one's really bad. And it's really unfortunate that it can render some of your photos aesthetically unpleasing, especially when you want to post them on your Facebook or your MySpace profile. You don't want to have to keep redoing photos. And sometimes, you might want to get the moment just right, like your pet or your baby doing some silly things. Once you take the first photo, that's it. Yeah, you can really see it there. And we'll do one more. Yep, you can definitely see that one. Here's my cat eating. Let's take a picture of her. Hopefully we don't get a lens shadow. Wow, you could even see the flash on that one, in the video. Yeah, that's definitely there. Earlier I mentioned that there were a few ways you could avoid the shadow, so I think it's fair to start bringing those up now. Aside from making sure that you don't have any objects to your immediate right when you're shooting with a flash, you can also zoom your camera in a tad if you think the shadow is going to be a problem. Let me go ahead and turn my camera on here. As you can see, I am completely zoomed out. So I'll take my photo, and if you pay attention to the lower right, the shadow will show up as expected. Yep, there it is. And next, I will zoom in about this much here. I'm going to take my picture. And as you can see, the shadow is effectively zoomed out of the photo. Another way you can avoid the lens shadow is to put the camera into widescreen mode. And it's interesting how I discovered this, because there's a guy on the internet right now who's been accusing me of making false allegations towards the SX210, saying that it doesn't cast the shadow that I say it does, and that my camera is defective because his doesn't do that. And he even went as far as to prove this by using his SX210 and Nikon D90 to take two close-up photos of the same subject and then put them up on the internet for everyone to look at and compare. And if you looked at the SX210 photo, you'd see that, sure enough, it didn't have a lens shadow at all, while the Nikon D90, which is a digital SLR, had a pretty nasty shadow. And I looked at the SX210 photo and saw something peculiar about its dimensions. It wasn't the standard 4:3 aspect ratio you'd expect from your typical digital photo. And it occurred to me that what he had done was use the SX210's widescreen resolution to take the photo. And this is significant because the SX210 widescreen mode has about 800 fewer pixels from top to bottom than its large resolution. It's basically the same as the large resolution, but with 400 pixels stripped off the top and 400 stripped off the bottom. So when he shot that photo with the SX210, he effectively cropped the lens shadow out of the picture so you couldn't see it. And so what I'm going to do with this setup here is try to imitate the distance and angle at which he shot his subject and demonstrate to you how you can use the SX210's widescreen mode to crop the lens shadow out of the photo. Now, pay attention up here. It is in the large resolution mode. I'm going to take my photo, pay attention to the lower right, and you'll see the lens shadow will be cast as expected. Yep, there it is. That's a pretty prominent one as well. What I'm going to do right now is take the camera over into widescreen mode. And if you look here, the large resolution is 4320 by 3240, and the widescreen mode is 4320 by 2432. So a difference of about 800 pixels off the height. I will select that and go ahead and take my photo. And lo and behold, no lens shadow. How about that?